It's the Major League of Professional Truck and Tractor Pulling, the Redman TNT All-American Pulling Series in the Greensboro Coliseum, where, Army, we're going to start the night's activities off with the modified four-wheel drive division.
Richard, this is one of the most interesting classes on the sport, definitely one of the most popular, and the reason being everybody can pull for their brand of vehicle. The Ford people pull for the Fords, the Chevrolet people pull for the Chevrolets, and it looks like everybody's pulling for Go-Go the Gorilla out there.
Now let's talk about these modifieds. They're limited to only one engine, no superchargers or turbochargers will be allowed.
Well, there's unlimited cubic inches. They're limited in their wheelbase. They can only be 140 inches long from center of front wheel to center of rear wheel. But one of the most interesting parts of the truck is the weight box. You'll see on all the vehicles they're allowed to go 60 inches from the center of the front wheel to the very furthest point of the truck, and they hang as much weight as they can at that point.
Our test puller tonight is going to be Charlie Lowe. It's called the Killer 2. He is a Ford man through and through out of West Palm Beach, Florida.
Out of South Florida. Not really familiar with this type of track. That's been the big question all afternoon long about the track being greasy, they call it, or slippery. But Lowe lays down a real good shot. He pulls out close.
A 132.19 for Charlie Lowe. Now, a full pull distance on this track, Army, will be 140 feet. We're going to wait and find out if Charlie Lowe is going to, first of all, accept the pull, and secondly, whether or not the TNT officials are going to declare the sled official.
He's the only puller that has that option by the luck of the draw. At the completion of the first run, there's a discussion. You saw it take place between the track official and the driver. We understand Lowe will keep the pull. Now we jump over to Jim Lyons. We've seen what a Ford can do. We're going to the GMC camp right now.
All right, also let's note the sled has been declared official by the TNT staff here. And this is Jim Lyons. It's the Stitches GMC out of Louisville, Kentucky.
Many times national champions in many types of sport. Lyons with a brand new truck trying to get it figured out, and it's not going to work for him. Had to go on the other side of a 132, just about a 126, we get word, Richard.
It's 126.40 for Jim Lyons in that brand new Stitches machine.
What did the track feel like to you out there, Jim?
Army, it's real slippery. I don't know, it might get better, but it's real slippery for us right now, and I didn't drive real good.
Will the track go back together, or is it going to keep getting slipperier as the night goes on?
I believe it'll get better all the time. As soon as it comes apart, I think it'll get better.
Well, if the track does get better, that is good news for our competitors coming to the line, including Randy McConnell, our next driver up in the Yellow Fever Chevrolet. Randy is out of Anderson, Alabama.
You know, Richard, it's kind of interesting what Jim Lyons just said. He said the track's going to have to come apart and go back together before it'll hold the horsepower. Now, speaking of horsepower, this all-aluminum big block Chevrolet goes by the name of the Yellow Fever. This youngster, too much horsepower. It's working against him. He's staying on top of the dirt. So, like we said earlier, this is definitely going to be a driver's track, a thinking man's track this evening.
Not a good distance for Randy McConnell, 120.19. Remember, a full pull distance is 140 feet. And, Army, I know these 4x4s tend to dig ruts or channels in the track when they run, and a good driver will try to find those hard ruts or channels and follow them rather than blazing a new trail. Can that happen on a slippery track?
Well, not on a slippery track. If you'll notice what's happening right now, Russell DeForest out of West Palm Beach, Florida comes out, and he spotted the sled all the way to the left side of the track. Remember, you can spot the sled in a 40-foot width. That's how wide the track is. Everybody's going to a new groove. You notice DeForest, he's all the way to the left now. He's trying to work the left hash mark, and that's not going to work for him. I don't know how they're going to be able to put the power in, Richard.
Slowly but surely, he comes to a stop at distance. Oh, that's terrible. 111.88 for Russell DeForest in the Outlaw.
Russell, would it have helped you to pull two plug wires off? It looks like you got more horsepower than you need. It's just not sticking.
Yeah, I think we got a little bit too much horsepower for the track here. Too high a gear.
Okay, now, the Florida tracks you're used to running on, this looks like it's almost sand, but it's not sticking like sand.
No, it's real greasy on the top, and it's just getting up on the top and sliding on the top.
So it's kind of interesting that our test puller's distance, 132.19 of Charlie Lowe, is still holding up as we get ready for, I guess you might call Greg Cook the hometown driver. We are in Greensboro. He is out of Mount Airy, North Carolina. He calls his beautiful Chevrolet the Wild Blue.
1989 Chevrolet. You know, Richard, it's kind of interesting. This young man has already won 2 national championships on the TNT Motorsport Tour, but this winter has not been his year. He's not able to get the horsepower that he needs. Now, he's working a right side. Whoa, really going upstairs with the RPM. He's up around 9,000 RPM, and the sled is just sticking to the top of the track.
A distance of 120.64 for Greg Cook out of North Carolina, so he's not going to win it tonight in Greensboro.
Greg, You didn't pull the sled as far as everybody else did.
I don't know, man. There ain't much track out there.
What's the problem? Are you not getting down and getting right into the track or what? I mean, everybody really seems to have actually too much horsepower for the track.
The track's too slick. It's way too wet. I guess it's all the snow and stuff, and it's just too much moisture, and it's real slick on top. Can't get into it.
Well, we'll get our ice skates ready and come back to all the modified 4x4 action in just a moment. We've got 3 trucks to go. Back with more on ESPN. And welcome back to Greensboro, North Carolina. I'm Richard Leake along with Army Armstrong, the Red Man, TNT All-American Pulling Series. Today, the modified 4x4 competition. We are down to our final 3 trucks, Army, and I wish I had the Isley brothers here to sing with us, because here comes Terry Davis. It's his thing, the super thing. Out of Tappahannock, Virginia, it's a Chevrolet.
Speaking of Isley brothers, it's time to twist and shout. Take it out on the other end in Greensboro. Let's see what's going to happen. Davis, one of the strongest running independents, is laying down a super shot. Richard Leake, look at this. We might have a new leader.
Greasy track at all. Terry Davis, 1:35.08. He has taken the lead away from the Ford of Charlie Lowe.
Okay, Terry, you drew late in the field. Do you feel like that helped you at all?
No, it's just that the track's a little greasy and you just got to stay off the throttle and all, and just hopefully it helped me a little bit staying off the throttle.
Right at the very end, you just nailed it. Is that out of just frustration? I mean, that's all you could do?
Yeah, well, I knew I was going down and I just nailed it, and I thought maybe I just could get it to jump maybe one more foot, but a sudden bust of it.
Well, that sudden bust of it took him into first place, 1:35.08 for Terry Davis. The heartbeat of America. Chevrolet knocks off Ford to take over the lead, Army.
Well, it's kind of interesting. Davis, one of the strong independents on the tour, took his first win ever last year at Owensboro, Kentucky, after fighting to the top. And he's showing he's a contender, Richard.
Well, we still got 2 trucks to go in this competition, but right now it's time to move on to the question of the week. This question of the week about the Red Man TNT All-American Pulling Series comes to us from Mike Sexton of Nicholasville, Kentucky. And he wants to know what kind of fuel is used in the modified 4x4 trucks. Well, Mike, the modified four-wheelers such as this one called the Yellow Fever can burn gasoline right from the pumps. However, remember, gasoline is a hot-burning fuel. Alcohol or methanol is a cool-burning fuel, and it's more stable. And that's important to have a cool-burning fuel when fine-tuning these high-performance engines. A cool-burning fuel is not as active as a hot-burning fuel, making it easier to tune the mixture of fuel with air for the performance of the engine. We appreciate the question, Mike, and if you have a question of the week about the Red Man TNT All-American Pulling Series, send it to us to TNT Motorsports, 5515 Poplar Park Boulevard, Louisville, Kentucky, 40228. And if we use your question on a future television show, we'll send you free a TNT Motorsports hat. Well, then there were 2. We have got 2 pullers left in this competition. Remember, a Chevrolet in first place, that being, of course, Terry Davis. But here comes one of the best in the business. Talking about Carl Staples. It's risky business, a Chevrolet out of Moyock, North Carolina. And, Army, this is running a Jim Lyons-built engine, 604 cubic inches.
Well, Jim Lyons out of Louisville, Kentucky, actually competes in this class. He's already made a run. He may be able to give Staples a little bit of information that's going to help him later on. Chevrolet in the lead, Chevrolet at the sled, but the final pull of the evening is going to go to the Ford champ of Tony Osteen. Right now, Staples is showing us that the track is not getting any better. You notice how the track is chunking when he runs down? It's just not, you can't stick the horsepower to this track, Richard Leake.
As Paul Simon might sing, slip sliding away. That's the story of Carl Staples, a distance of only 128.64. And now we're down to our final puller, Army. And looky here, the Ford fans are really on the edge of their seats because it is a Ford driver. Talking about Tony Osteen, the Georgia Rebel out of West Green, Georgia. He's a former national champion, and he is trying to knock off the Chevrolet for the win here.
Well, anybody that follows this sport knows Osteen is one bad hombre to have sitting at the back of the pack. He's had all his time to read the track. Let's see what's going to happen. It's a classic battle. Ford going after Chevrolet. Who's going to take the win? We're going to find out at the conclusion of this run. Osteen looks good, but I don't believe good enough. Richard, I believe Chevrolet is going to take the win tonight.
Tony Osteen comes ever so close, a distance of 134.13, but that's only good enough for second place.
Tony, this looks like one of the toughest tracks you've had to pull on all winter long. It looks real slippery out there.
Yes, sir, it is. It's real tough. I don't know. We tried some stuff and worked pretty good. Maybe a couple of practice runs we could make a better one, but it sure is hard to get a hold of.
Okay, now a lot of people don't realize in this sport that you actually do make changes to this truck. Similar to any racing organization, when you see certain situations, you adjust to them. Can you tell us some of the stuff you tried?
Well, we lowered the air pressure because the track was so soft and slicky, trying to get more tread on the ground, and so that worked a little bit, but we had to run real slow tires because if it was so soft, we threw up a lot of dirt. So we tried everything we thought of. You know, come up a little short this time, but we're going to be after them next time.
Well, greasy track and all. Good show by these modified pullers this afternoon. Let's run down your top 5. Jim Lyons takes 5th in a GMC truck. Carl Staples Chevrolet was 4th. In 3rd place tonight, Charlie Lowe, a Ford. 2nd place goes to Tony Osteen, a Ford. But your champion in this modified class, the Chevrolet of Terry Davis and the Super Thing out of Tappahannock, Virginia.